Well, let's get some more detail now on the military situation in and around Taiwan with the chief executive of Siberline and the security expert, Justin Crump. Justin, it's great to have you here. Just bring us up to date with what's happening around Taiwan.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on day 3 of 4 days of announced Chinese exercises, ostensibly in response to Speaker Pelosi's visit. But actually, I think the scale of these, as we just indicated from the report, shows that these have probably been some time in the planning, and they actually fit with the pattern of increased Chinese activity towards Taiwan we've been seeing over the last couple of years. So effectively a pretext for a large-scale Chinese demonstration or rehearsal of their potential capability to take the island. So that's what we've been seeing over these few days. The first day in particular saw missile launches to the mainland. That probably is something that China brought forwards and hadn't necessarily planned before. And that did include one missile flying over the island, which is obviously very provocative. That hasn't happened before. Missiles landing all around the island. A naval blockade simulated with areas, and the exercise areas very close to the island itself, in the shipping lanes, and much closer than we've seen hitherto. So all simulating what we'd expect in the event of a war. And that included cyber blockades, trade blockades, sanctions. All of those things have been put in place. And if we zoom in, we can see a little bit about what the provocative actions look like. So the big box is the Taiwanese Air Defence Identification Zone. That's the area they defend of their airspace. It's actually, in practice, divided by what's called the median line, which cuts off this part of it. So that's what Taiwan's interested in. And so Chinese ships and aircraft have been deliberately crossing the median line, flying either side of the island, circumnavigating the island, and simulating strikes against US carrier groups that would otherwise intervene in the conflict. So we've seen all of that going on over 3 days. Today seems to have seen a rehearsal for an amphibious assault, what that would look like, going to the median line only and turning back, but just effectively stepping across and showing that to Taiwan. And so I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow sees the conclusion of the exercises with some land-based simulations of combat to demonstrate what the fighting would look like on the island. Now, a real war would take a lot more than 4 days, but basically China going through the motions with all of that currently. And if we talk just very quickly about those drones, because they've aroused a lot of interest, these are actually islands belonging to Taiwan, but they're very close in to the Chinese coast. And if you zoom in, you can actually see how close they are. So we think of the island, but actually Taiwan has territory literally 1.5 miles off the mainland. And this routinely actually gets buzzed by these sorts of smaller drones with surveillance capabilities. So that's happening often, but they've increased the tempo towards that. And again, you're seeing this sort of action around the island by Chinese aircraft just to kind of simulate that war-fighting thing and send that message to Taiwan.
Justin, it's great to get your thoughts. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.